The candles on my birthday cake cast flickering shadows across vacant chairs. 11 empty place settings mock me from around the private rooftop table, each pristine napkin folded into a perfect triangle, each crystal glass catching the sunset's glow. A waiter hovers near the entrance, his eyes darting away when I glance in his direction. I check my phone again. 7:43 p.m. No messages, no missed calls. The screen's harsh glare illuminates my reflection careful makeup, blown-out hair, the silk dress I bought specially for tonight. My stomach clenches as I scroll through my last message to the family group chat. Can't wait to see everyone tonight at 7. 6 enthusiastic responses. 3 heart emojis. 2, wouldn't miss it for the world, promises. The hostess approaches with the first course balanced on her tray, her smile too bright, too sympathetic. Would you like me to serve this now, Miss Carter? Please. My voice comes out steady, practiced. The silver dome lifts to reveal a single portion of butternut squash soup, steam curling into the autumn air. The original order was for 12. A burst of laughter drifts up from other diners on the lower terrace. My spoon clinks against fine china, each sip tasting of ash and childhood disappointments. Remember Jason's album release party last month? I'd flown cross-country, rearranged 3 client meetings, picked up the $5,000 bar tab. He'd hugged me, drunk and happy, swearing I was the best sister in the world. My phone buzzes. For a heartbeat, hope flares. But it's just my dentist's office. Happy birthday from Dr. Klein and staff. The waiter returns, this time with the main course. The chef prepared the salmon as requested. He hesitates. Would you like us to bring out the other entrees? No, I fold my napkin, pressing out invisible creases. Just mine. He nods, relief evident in the slope of his shoulders. The other 11 portions won't go to waste. The restaurant has protocols for last-minute cancellations. Unlike my morning, spent styling my hair into soft waves, picking up the custom cake, leaving work early for the first time in months. The cake. 3 tiers of vanilla bean and raspberry, decorated with hand-painted flowers. $150 worth of celebration, ordered weeks ago. Happy 33rd birthday, Emily, written in elegant script across the middle tier. My phone screen lights up. A text from Mom. Sorry, honey, completely slipped our minds. Melanie's little one has an ear infection and you know how it is. Rain check? The words blur. Of course. Melanie's 3-year-old's minor ailment trumps everything. Just like her wedding last year, the one I helped finance with $35,000 of my savings. For my baby sister's special day, Mom had said, "You understand, don't you, Emily?" I always understand. Always step aside. Always open my wallet and my heart, expecting nothing in return. The salmon turns to sawdust in my mouth. Around me, the city sparkles, 1,000 lights winking on as dusk settles over Manhattan. From this height, everything looks small, manageable. Even family obligations. My credit card hits the leather folder with a quiet snap an hour later. I'll take the cake with me, I tell the hovering waitstaff. The bill for 12 sits beside my platter of appetizers, entrees, wine pairings, and desserts that will never be tasted. My signature flows across the bottom, adding another 4-figure dent to my account. 10 minutes later, in front of the restaurant, the Uber driver eyes the massive cake box when I slide into his car. Big party? Something like that. I balance the box on my lap, watching the city blur past my window. The same streets I drove last week, rushing to help Mom and Dad refinance their mortgage. Again. Emergency money they swore they'd repay this time. My apartment welcomes me with silence an hour later. The cake goes into the refrigerator, white box stark against empty shelves. A wall of frames catches my eye photos of family celebrations. Jason's music school graduation, Melanie's baby shower, Mom and Dad's 30th anniversary cruise. I step closer, really looking for the first time. In every picture, I'm on the edges, smile fixed, checkbook ready. The responsible one. The reliable one. The walking, breathing safety net. My reflection stares back from the glass. Same brown hair, same green eyes as the woman in the photos. But something has shifted behind them, like a lock turning, a door closing. My hands move without conscious thought, taking down frame after frame. Each one lands face down on the mantel with a quiet thud. 12 photos, 12 empty chairs, 12 slices of untouched birthday cake. From the kitchen, I retrieve a single candle and matches. The flame wavers as I carry it to my bedroom, where no family photos hang. Just my diplomas, my achievement awards, the evidence of a life built on hard work and self-reliance. I sink onto my bed, cradling the small light. "Happy birthday to me," I whisper, and close my eyes. The wish comes instantly, rising from some deep, unacknowledged place. I wish to be free. The candle goes out. In the darkness, my phone lights up with another text. Mom again. "Don't forget about Dad's 60th next month at Cape May Resort. It's going to be spectacular." A laugh bubbles up, sharp and unfamiliar. I silence the phone without reading further. Tomorrow, they'll expect everything to return to normal. The dutiful daughter, the generous sister, the endless fountain of support and second chances. But birthdays are for new beginnings, and 33 feels like the perfect age to start writing a different story. The 6 days since my birthday stretch like a bruise, darkening with each passing hour. No calls, no texts, no belated apologies from the family that forgot me. My office at Meridian Strategy Partners wraps around me like armor. Here, in this corner space with its clean lines and organized files, I control everything. The morning light washes over my laptop where Q3 projections fill the screen. Numbers never forget, numbers never make excuses. A notification buzzes my phone. The family group chat, silent since my last, "Can't wait to see everyone," message, springs to life. Mom's text glows on the screen. "Richard's 60th birthday bash at Cape May Resort, $2,500 per person. Please Venmo me by Thursday." Coffee sloshes over my hand. The scalding liquid barely registers against the ice crystallizing in my chest. My phone buzzes again and again. Melanie. Done. Dad deserves the best. Jason. Sent. Can't wait to celebrate. The screen blurs. I blink hard, thumb hovering over the keyboard. Before I can type a response, another message appears. Mom. Emily, did you see this, honey? Need your portion as soon as possible for the deposit. My hands shake as I open my banking app. The muscle memory kicks in. How many times have I done this? Too many times to count. But today, something stops me. A small voice growing stronger. Look, really look. I pull up my transaction history. The numbers march down my screen in neat rows, each one a memory. $28,000 transferred to Jason Carter, music school tuition. $35,000 transferred to Linda Carter, Melanie's wedding. $4,500 transferred to Richard Carter, emergency home repairs. $7,800 transferred to Linda Carter, family vacation deposit. $12,000 transferred to Richard Carter, new car down payment. The list scrolls on and on. 6 years of transactions. 6 years of never saying no. My office door clicks shut. Sarah from accounting stands there, concern etched across her face. "Em, you okay? You look like you've seen a ghost." "I need your help." The words tumble out before I can stop them. "Can you look at something?" Sarah settles into the chair across from me, reading glasses perched on her nose. I turn my laptop toward her, spreadsheet after spreadsheet opening under my trembling fingers. Each tab a different year, each cell a different withdrawal. Her sharp intake of breath cuts through the office silence. $213,000? Sarah pushes her glasses up, squinting at the total. "Emily, this isn't help, this is exploitation." The word hangs between us. Exploitation. An ugly word for an uglier truth. "They're my family," I whisper. "No." Sarah reaches across the desk, her hand covering mine. "They're your dependents, and you're not their daughter anymore. You're their retirement plan." My phone buzzes again. "Mom, Emily, the resort needs final numbers today." Something shifts inside me, a tectonic plate of emotion grinding against years of practice compliance. I open Venmo, my fingers steady now. The amount field glows empty, waiting. I type $1. Note field. Congrats. Send. The phone erupts. Calls from mom, dad, Melanie, Jason. Their names flash across my screen like warning signals. I silence them all. An hour later, office phone line blinks. Front desk security. Miss Carter? Your father is here. Says it's urgent. Tell him I'm in a meeting. The words come out clear, strong. And Angela? Please remove Richard Carter from my approved visitors list. I pull up my bank's website. Joint emergency account with my parents. $47,000. My finger hovers over the close account button. 6 years of being the family ATM flash through my mind. Birthdays spent alone. Holidays where my gifts were met with hints about bigger needs. Dreams postponed while I funded everyone else's. Click. Account closed. My phone lights up with a text from an unknown number, Melanie, using our cousin's phone. You spoiled, selfish bitch, after everything we've done for you? A laugh bubbles up, sharp and unfamiliar. Everything they've done for me? The family photos on my desk catch the morning light. I turn them face down, one by one. The locksmith answers on the first ring. Carter residence? Yes, I need a complete rekey, today. Each call feels like breaking a chain. Bank accounts, credit card authorizations, emergency contacts, my brother's Netflix that somehow still bills to my card. The family phone plan I've paid for since college. Last call. Mr. Reeves' office, please. Yes, I'll hold. The classical music on hold fades into a crisp voice. Alan Reeves speaking. Mr. Reeves? I need to discuss financial recovery options. My voice doesn't waver. I have documentation of $213,000 in coerced family transfers over 6 years. I glance at my closed office door where security stands guard. Beyond it, I can hear Richard's voice rising, demanding to see his daughter. But I'm not his daughter right now. I'm a woman closing her account at the Bank of Emily, permanent withdrawal. Certainly, Miss Carter. Papers rustle on Reeves' end. Would you prefer to meet this afternoon or tomorrow morning? I check my calendar tight except for Dad's birthday planning committee call. Delete. I will call you back again to confirm. And Mr. Reeves? Bring whatever paperwork you need for a full audit. I want everything documented. The weight lifts from my shoulders with each word. Outside my window, Manhattan sparkles in the autumn sun. The city looks different now, like a place where daughters can exist without being saviors. Where family means more than an open wallet and an endless supply of forgiveness. I pick up a pen, my handwriting bold across a fresh legal pad. Property inventory, spare keys, shared accounts, co-signed loans. The list grows. Each line a rope I'm ready to cut. My phone lights up one last time. Mom again. Emily Grace Carter, you answer me right now. You're breaking your father's heart. I text back 4 words. No, I'm saving mine. Then I block them all. The next day, at home, the notifications pulse through my phone like an electrical storm. 27 missed calls, 43 text messages. Each one from a different number I don't recognize. My mother's voicemail cuts through the morning quiet of my kitchen. Emily, what do you mean access denied? This must be some kind of mistake. Call me back right now. I delete the message with a thumb swipe, the same way I've deleted the previous 12. The coffee maker gurgles and spits, filling my apartment with the scent of French roast. My morning routine continues, undisturbed by the digital tempest. A sharp knock at my door sends coffee sloshing over my mug's rim. Through the peephole, 2 police officers stand in my hallway, their badges catching the fluorescent light. Miss Carter? The older officer's voice carries through the door. We're responding to a wellness check. Your family's concerned about your safety. My fingers work the deadbolt. The door opens to reveal a tall male officer with salt and pepper hair and his partner, a woman about my age with observant brown eyes. I'm fine, I say, gesturing to my business attire, my organized apartment visible behind me. Not missing or in danger, just done being used. The female officer's gaze sweeps over me, taking in details, my steady hands, clear eyes, professional demeanor. A flash of understanding crosses her face. Families sometimes escalate when they lose control, she says softly. Be careful, document everything. Their footsteps fade down the hallway. I press my palm against the door frame, steadying myself. Someone else sees it. Someone else understands. The evening brings another assault. I'm stirring marinara sauce when the pounding starts, hard enough to rattle the brass numbers on my door. We know you're in there. My father's voice booms through the wood. Open this door right now, Emily. Melanie's higher pitch joins the chorus. You can't just cut us off like this. We're your family. The spoon in my hand trembles. Every instinct screams to rush to the door, to smooth things over, to fix it. My feet remain planted on the kitchen tile. Mrs. Rodriguez from next door peers out her apartment. I catch her eye through my peephole as she pulls out her phone, likely calling building security. The shouting continues, echoing off the hallway walls. What about family loyalty? Richard's voice cracks. After everything we've done for you? A laugh bubbles up from my chest, sharp and foreign. Everything they've done for me? The marinara sauce bubbles, drawing my attention back to the stove. I give it a slow stir, letting their voices fade into white noise. My phone buzzes. Melanie. You can't just cut us off like this. Mom's having anxiety attacks. Is that what you want? The message joins the others in my deleted folder. 2 days later, I sit across from Alan Reeves in his wood-paneled office. Golden afternoon light filters through vertical blinds, casting stripes across his mahogany desk. The lawyer's wire-rimmed glasses catch the glow as he reviews my documents. You're still co-signer on their mortgage, he says, tapping a page with his pen. That's a significant liability. I want a full audit. The words taste like freedom on my tongue, and I want to initiate a forced equity sale of my share. Reeves leans back, studying me over steepled fingers. Most people cave when it comes to family. The pressure can be intense. I need his gaze. I'm not most people, not anymore. Later that day, at home, the psychological warfare intensifies. My mother's texts arrive like poison darts. How could you do this to your own family? Jason, ever the performer. Mom hasn't stopped crying. She can't sleep. She can't eat. Is this what you wanted? My father's voicemail rasps with threat. You'll regret turning your back on us, Emily. Mark my words. I enable two-factor authentication on every account. Change my email passwords. Add security questions no one in my family could guess. Each protective measure straightens my spine a little more. The manila envelope from Reeves arrives on a Tuesday. Inside, the audit report spells out 6 years of financial bloodletting in black and white. $213,000. The number stares up at me, demanding acknowledgement. Memories flash like scenes from a film I've watched too many times. Canceling my trip to Portugal. Jason's music school tuition is due, sweetie. You understand, right? The constant ache in my back molar. Melanie's wedding venue needs the deposit this week. The dental work can wait. Working until midnight, eyes burning. The mortgage payment bounced again, Emmy, just this one last time. My fingers hover over the keyboard. The audit report sits attached to a new email, recipient field filled with their addresses, one click to detonate the truth. I press send. The message is simple. I want it all back. Every dollar. The silence that follows sounds like victory. A week later, the for sale sign appeared, stark white against the autumn foliage. Through my windshield, I watched neighbors slow their cars, necks craning toward the 5-bedroom colonial where birthday parties and holiday gatherings had filled 30 years of memories. A U-Haul truck sat in the circular driveway, its orange and white panels reflecting morning sunlight. My fingers tightened around the steering wheel. Mom stooped beneath the weight of a box marked kitchen, her silver roots showing through faded dye. Dad's polo shirt hung loose on his frame as he directed the movers, his business casual facade crumbling along with his pride. Melanie's minivan idled nearby, her 3-year-old pressed against the window, tiny hand waving at grandparents who couldn't wave back. Boxes and furniture dotted the lawn like tombstones. A mahogany dining table where we'd shared Sunday dinners. The vintage china cabinet Dad inherited from his mother. Jason's first guitar, strings dangling, propped against a free sign. His music store's going, out of business sale hadn't covered half his debts. My phone buzzed. Another message from Mom. Your father's heart medication doubled this week. The doctor says it's stress. Please, Emily, we're your family. Delete. 3 more texts arrived in quick succession. How can you sleep at night knowing what you've done to us? Delete. I cry myself to sleep every night. Is this what you wanted? Delete. You're killing your own father with this vindictiveness. Delete. The support group met in a church basement on Tuesday nights. Plastic chairs arranged in a circle, coffee burning on a hot plate, stories flowing like confession. Sandra, a retired teacher, squeezed my hand as I described the morning's drive-by. It was never about the money, was it? Her voice carried the weight of experience. It's about the betrayal. I keep thinking I should feel guilty. The words scraped my throat. But all I feel is relief. Heads nodded around the circle. Mark, who'd refinanced his house 3 times to support a gambling-addicted son, offered a sad smile. The guilt comes later. Then you remember they're adults who made their choices. You just stopped cushioning the fall. My phone lit up with Melanie's latest Facebook post. Some people forget blood is thicker than water. Karma never forgets family betrayal. Toxic, heartbroken, exposed. Sandra glanced at the screen. Your sister sounds charming. She had a perfect wedding. Designer dress, string quartet, chocolate fountain. I pocketed the phone. $35,000 of perfect, courtesy of her ATM sister. And now? She's selling LuLaRoe leggings on Instagram between passive-aggressive posts about me. The church bells chimed 9. People gathered coats and bags, exchanging hugs and phone numbers. Jenny, a first-timer whose parents had drained her retirement fund, lingered by the coffee. Does it get easier? No, I gathered my purse. But you get stronger. The call from Alan Reeves came Thursday morning. His voice carried the precision of expensive education and victory. They've liquidated almost everything. The house sale closes next week. My office window reflected a woman I barely recognized. Shoulders straight, chin lifted, eyes clear. How much is still outstanding? $17,000. They're requesting leniency. Your father mentioned something about blood being thicker than water. All of it. The words emerged without hesitation. Every dollar. Even after the house sale, they'll be living in a 2-bedroom apartment, your mother mentioned. All of it. Silence crackled across the line. Then, I'll make it happen. 3 days later, the first therapy session felt like surrender. Dr. Walsh's office smelled of lavender and old books, diplomas lining walls the color of sea glass. Tell me why you're here, Emily. I thought love meant sacrifice. Tears ambushed me, hot and unexpected. If you gave enough, did enough, somehow my voice cracked. They'd see you. She let the silence stretch, comfortable as an old quilt. Love without respect is just control in disguise. I gave them everything. The tissue in my hands shredded under restless fingers. Money, time, dreams. They took and took and took, and still. Still? They forgot my birthday. Didn't even send a text. But they remembered to ask for money the next week. $2,500 for Dad's 60th birthday party. What did that tell you? That I was never their daughter. I was their retirement plan. In the weeks to come, spring arrived with cherry blossoms and closing documents. The deed to my new townhouse filled 3 inches of manila envelope, every page marked with fresh signatures. No co-signers. No family obligations. Just my name, my money, my future stretching clean and bright as April sunshine. Sandra helped me arrange furniture, her arthritis-stiff fingers still nimble with picture hooks. Have you heard from them? Mom sends scripture verses about honoring your parents. Melanie posts cryptic quotes about karma. Jason's giving guitar lessons at the Y instead of touring with his band. I straightened a framed photography support group at our Christmas potluck. Dad hasn't said a word since the final payment cleared. And how do you feel? The question hung between us like morning mist. Through my living room window, dogwood petals danced on the breeze, white as fresh beginnings. For the first time in years, my shoulders carried no weight but their own. Free. At the present, pottery wheel spun beneath my fingers, wet clay slipping through them like time itself. 6 months of freedom had softened the sharp edges of my anger into something smoother, more manageable. My hair fell loose around my shoulders, wisps escaping from a casual bun. No pressed silk dress tonight, just old jeans and a paint-splattered t-shirt that would have horrified my former self. Beautiful centering, Emily. Sandra, our instructor, nodded approvingly. You're developing quite a touch. The other students murmured in agreement, their own wheels whirring in the converted warehouse space. Evening light slanted through industrial windows, catching dust motes and the occasional splash of water. For the first time in my adult life, I had chosen something purely for myself. No practical purpose, no family obligation, no return on investment beyond the simple pleasure of creating. The bell above the door chimed. Sorry I'm late, a familiar voice said. Traffic on Main Street was. My hands froze on the wheel. The clay wobbled, lost its center. Richard Carter stood in the doorway, thinner than I remembered, silver threading through his dark hair. His confident posture had withered into something uncertain, diminished. The designer suits and Italian leather shoes had given way to khakis and a plain button-down that looked like it came from a department store sale rack. Our eyes met across the studio. His breath caught audibly. Welcome, Sandra called out. You must be our new student. There's an open wheel right over there. Right across from mine. Richard hesitated, one foot sliding backward toward the door. But something in his expression shifted, and he moved to the assigned wheel. The space between us stretched wide as an ocean, filled with the ghosts of bounced checks and broken promises. I forced my attention back to my bowl, but my fingers had lost their sureness. The walls collapsed inward, then outward, refusing to hold the shape I wanted. Like so many things in my life, it had looked stable until the moment it wasn't. Remember to breathe, Sandra murmured, passing behind me. The clay responds to tension. From the corner of my eye, I watched Richard struggle with his own lump of clay. His movements were too aggressive, too determined to force the material into submission. Water splashed onto his shirt. A muscle twitched in his jaw, the same tell I remembered from childhood, when his latest business venture started to crumble. Gentle pressure, Sandra told him. Clay doesn't judge, it just takes the shape we give it. A strange laugh bubbled up in my throat. I swallowed it back, focusing on rebuilding my bowl's walls. The wheel spun, hypnotic. Time blurred. Other students chatted softly, but the space between my wheel and Richard's remained silent as a tomb. When Sandra called time, I almost didn't want to stop. My hands were steady now, covered in clay, but certain in their purpose. The bowl wasn't perfect, but it was mine every flaw and finger mark a choice I had made myself. Your bowl turned out nice. I looked up. Richard stood nearby, but not too near, his own misshapen attempt at a cylinder cradled awkwardly in his hands. Thanks. My voice came out steady. It's my first time. The silence stretched between us, heavy with unspoken words. Students filtered past, carrying their creations to the drying racks. Sandra began wiping down wheels. Emily. He cleared his throat. Could we talk, just for a minute? The old instinct flared say yes, keep the peace, smooth things over. But those muscles had atrophied over months of therapy and boundary setting. I gathered my purse and keys, taking my time. 5 minutes, I said. In the parking lot. Outside, crickets chirped in the warm evening air. Richard's car, I noticed, was at least 10 years old, a far cry from the luxury vehicles he'd once leased to maintain appearances. We're renting a small apartment near here now, he said, following my gaze. The house. Well, you know about the house. I did. The forced equity sale had been more satisfying in theory than execution, watching my childhood home stripped down to numbers in a ledger, divided and subtracted until nothing remained but hard truth. Mom's working at Macy's, he continued. Part-time in the jewelry department. She's actually pretty good at it, and I'm doing some consulting. Small businesses, nothing fancy. Living within our means for the first time in. He trailed off, running a hand through his hair. That's good, I said, and meant it. I hope it works out for you. You were always the strong one, his voice cracked. I just never had the courage to admit it. To admit any of it. What we did to you. He shook his head. It was wrong. All of it. The money, the guilt, the manipulation. Using your love against you. I don't expect forgiveness, but I needed you to know I understand now. What we stole wasn't just money. It was your trust, your childhood, your right to be more than our safety net. The words I'd waited decades to hear. But they fell into the space between us like stones into still water, ripples fading before they reached the shore. I hope you're doing well, Richard. The name felt strange on my tongue, not Dad, not Daddy, just Richard. A man who shared my DNA but had forfeited the right to anything more. The class meets weekly, he said. If you'd rather I find a different night. It's fine. I adjusted my purse strap. We're adults. We can share a pottery class. Maybe. Hope flickered across his face. Maybe we could get coffee sometime? Talk properly? I'm not ready for regular contact. The words came easily now, smooth as well, thrown clay. Maybe someday, but not now. He nodded, shoulders slumping. But when he extended his hand, the gesture held no manipulation, no hidden agenda, just recognition of boundaries drawn and respected. I shook his hand brief, formal, the touch of strangers beginning to learn each other's shapes. Then I walked to my car without looking back, spine straight, steps sure. The evening air tasted of possibility and wet clay, of things destroyed and rebuilt, of endings that might someday become beginnings. But not today. Today, I had a bowl to fire, a self to strengthen, a life to shape with my own two hands. The wheel keeps spinning. We choose what forms rise from its turning. A year later, the scent of coffee mingles with fresh paint in my new living room. Sunlight streams through bare windows, catching dust motes that dance above cardboard boxes labeled kitchen and office. But the pottery wheel commands center stage. Clay splattered and beautiful against the crisp white wall. A burst of laughter draws my attention to the kitchen, where Sarah stirs pancake batter while Monica hangs streamers. Real friends who showed up at 7 a.m. to help celebrate my 34th birthday. Earth to Emily! Monica waves a spatula. Where should we put the gifts? Gifts? The word catches in my throat. Last year's rooftop restaurant flashes through my empty chairs, untouched cake, silence. I blink the memory away. You didn't have to. Stop right there. Sarah abandons her batter to grip my shoulders. We wanted to, because that's what friends do. My therapy journal peeks from a half-unpacked box, its pages dog-eared and coffee-stained. Oh, doctor. Wallace's neat handwriting marks progress in the margins. Growth isn't linear, and your worth isn't measured in dollars given. 6 months of weekly sessions, unraveling decades of familiar knots. The doorbell chimes. Annie from my financial abuse support group bursts in, brandishing a cake box. Sorry I'm late. The bakery took forever with the butterfly design. Butterflies. My chest tightens. Mom used to decorate all our birthday cakes with butterflies until Melanie declared them childish at 13. The tradition died quietly, like so many others. But these friends noticed when I mentioned it once, months ago, during group sharing, they remembered. Before we cut the cake, Monica announces, Emily needs to see her pottery display. They lead me to the living room's east wall, where floating shelves showcase my creations. Wonky bowls and imperfect vases tell the story of Tuesday nights spent learning to center clay, to find beauty in asymmetry. Each piece represents an hour I chose myself over others' demands. The blue glaze on this one is gorgeous. Sarah traces the rim of my latest bowl. You've got talent, Em. A year ago, I would have deflected the compliment, rushed to minimize my achievement. Now I let the words land. Thanks, I love how the speckles turned out. My phone buzzes. A text from Linda Mom about her new job at Macy's first retail position in 30 years. I remember her hands, soft from decades of bridge club and charity luncheons, now learning to fold sweaters and work a register. I click the screen dark without responding. The local paper sits on my coffee table, open to the community section. Jason's ad catches my eye. Piano lessons with Jason Carter, building musicians one note at a time. His first paying students start next week. No more demo tapes shipped to record labels, no more dream of overnight stardom. Cake time, Annie calls from the kitchen. Everyone grab a plate. The butterfly design sparkles with edible glitter. 34 candles form a golden crown around the words, "Happy Birthday, Emily." No missing letters, no last-minute grocery store purchase. My friends gather close, their voices lifting in the familiar song. I close my eyes, savoring the weight of this moment, the warmth of chosen family, the lightness in my shoulders where guilt used to live. A knock at the door freezes my hand mid-reach for the cake knife. I'll get it. Monica peers through the peephole, then turns to me. It's a delivery? My heart stutters, but when I open the door, there's only a small package wrapped in brown paper. No sender name, just my address in familiar handwriting. Inside, a clay mug rests in bubble wrap. The glaze is uneven, the handle slightly crooked. A note in my father's precise architect's script reads, "Made this myself, no strings attached." Sarah watches me with careful eyes. "You okay?" I place the mug on an empty shelf, not hidden away, not prominently displayed, just there, like the possibility it represents. "I'm better than okay," I say and mean it. Later, after my friends leave with promises to meet for brunch next weekend, I drive to Cape May. The same beach where Dad's 60th birthday extravaganza would have been, with its rented yacht and champagne fountain. The autumn wind whips my hair as I walk barefoot along the shore. My phone rings, Monica checking in. "Do you regret it?" she asks. "Any of it?" I bend to pick up a perfect shell, whole and unbroken. Setting boundaries isn't selfish, it's survival. I had to learn that the hard way. Waves crash against the sand, eternal as the tides. Behind me, my footprints mark a clear path not away from something, but toward myself. A familiar peace settles in my bones. For years, I mistook obligation for love, poured myself into a bottomless well of family needs, but love without respect is just control in disguise. Sometimes the bravest thing we can do is stop swimming against the current of who we really are. I toss the shell back to the sea and turn toward home. My home. Built not on guilt or duty, but on the solid foundation of self-worth. The sun sets over the water, painting the sky in colors no potter could glaze, no family could demand, no money could buy. Tomorrow, I might use that crooked mug for my morning coffee, or I might not. The choice, like so many others now, is beautifully mine to make.